Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Story Summarized, a series where I will be looking back on some of my favorite games and packaging the story into a nice little video. First up is going to be 2014's The Evil Within. Of course, spoilers ahead. Our story begins with Detective Sebastian Castellanos as he responds to a call at Crimson City's Beacon Mental Hospital. He's accompanied by two fellow detectives, Joseph Oda and Julie Kidman. The scene at the hospital is gruesome, but they find a lone survivor named Dr. Jimenez. Sebastian checks the security footage of the hospital and is suddenly captured by a nightmarish spirit. Escaping from a giant man wielding a chainsaw that is in no way reminiscent of the director's last game, Sebastian finds himself back at the entrance of the hospital, only to find that the entire city is crumbling and becoming destroyed. Escaping the hospital in an ambulance driven by a fellow police officer, Sebastian, Joseph, Julie, Dr. Jimenez, and a mysterious mental patient named Leslie are forced to crash due to the destruction of the city. What follows is Sebastian trekking through a nightmarish world that seems to make no sense, with Sebastian falling in and out of locations at random, and to top it off, he has to kill and avoid zombie-like creatures and monsters. While trekking through this world, he occasionally meets up with Joseph, who is turning into one of the zombies, Leslie, who is always going crazy, and Dr. Jimenez, who is always enigmatic. He also occasionally meets up with Julie. We eventually learn of the spirit who trapped Sebastian at the beginning of the game. His name is Ruvik, born Ruben Victoriano to the rich Victoriano family. Ruben was an incredibly gifted child who sparked the interest of Dr. Jimenez at a young age. One day, as he was playing in a barn with his older sister Laura, farm folk burned it to the ground with the children still inside, resulting in the death of Laura and leaving Ruben scarred and disfigured. As he mourned Laura's death and drew deeper into grief, his father locked him in the basement of his manor. In retaliation, he murdered his own parents and used their funds to provide donations to Beacon Mental Hospital as Dr. Jimenez helped him on his experiments. Ruben sought to create a device known as STEM, a device that could reshape reality so that he could relive his memories with Laura. STEM would unite the minds of several people into one, with one mind at its center, Ruben's. Unbeknownst to Ruben, however, Dr. Jimenez had been working with a shadow organization known as Mobius, who want to use STEM for their own nefarious or evil reasons. And after realizing that STEM can only be used using Ruben's mind, they murder him and use his brain as a catalyst for STEM and begin experimenting with it. Essentially, Ruben, or Ruvik, is stuck inside a STEM, but is able to shape the world as he wants. Making his way back to Beacon Mental Hospital, Sebastian encounters Julie, who is trying to kill Leslie. After a struggle, Sebastian and Leslie make their way to Beacon on their own. They make their way to the top of the hospital where STEM is located. Sebastian looks down and realizes that he's lying in a tub and is connected to STEM. Julie arrives and once again attempts to kill Leslie. Ruvik then shows up, as he disintegrates Leslie into himself and draws Sebastian into the nightmare of his own mind. After overcoming Ruvik as a giant grotesque creature, Sebastian wakes up in a tub as he unplugs himself from STEM. He makes his way to the catalyst and promptly destroys Ruvik's brain, severing his connection to STEM. Sebastian once again wakes up in a tub and realizes that Julie is a double agent for Mobius. She tells Sebastian to be quiet and play dead as she leaves him to live another day outside of STEM. Sebastian wakes up once more, free of STEM. He leaves the tub and sees that Dr. Jimenez and the other people he met throughout his journey now lay dead in their own respective tubs connected to STEM, which no longer has Ruvik's brain as the catalyst. As Sebastian leaves Beacon Mental Hospital, he is happy to realize he is finally in the real world. He catches a glimpse of Leslie leaving the hospital, walking in a way very similar to Ruvik. Sebastian experiences a headache, only to look back and see that Leslie has disappeared.